Thanks for tuning in. This is SECCA Round 2, the Bonita Lakes Hare Scramble in Meridian, Mississippi on March 6, 2021. This is my first race on my Yamaha YZ250FX and I'm excited about it. I've been a little nervous about starts on this bike since it's not as reliable when starting as my other bike, so let's see how it goes. The bike started up pretty quickly, so that went well for my first start on it. I'm in 6th at the first turn, not great but not last. There's Chris Waldrop ducking on the inside there, now I'm 7th. I'm just kind of feeling out the new bike at this point. It feels really weird to be on this bike in a race, to be honest. I've started close to 50 motos in the past 3 years, all on my KTM 250 XCW. I've only gotten a couple of opportunities to ride this new YZ250FX since I bought it, but this race location is very sandy and the YZ250FX should be a good fit here with the suspension setup. As I'm getting settled into my pace, I'm already noticing the suspension is really stiff. There goes Mike Rogers. He was last off the line, but he's making a charge early in the race. Now I'm in 8th place. Someone asked about passing on my unedited video, and the first thing I'll say is that I'm not great at passing. I'm trying to get better at it, and it's definitely something I need to work on, but I'll try to explain some of those situations in the video. I'm behind my friend Johnny here and looking for an opportunity to pass. There are two primary scenarios in these races where you need to pass. The first one is where you're trying to pass someone you're racing with, someone in your class. You can't really expect those guys to make it easy for you or to pull over for you. Those are the situations where you really need passing skills and you need the vision to find a line around them. The second scenario is where you're getting around a slower rider from another class, and I'll talk about that a little more later. In this situation, Johnny's in my class and I'm looking for an opening. This suspension is actually working pretty well in these sand whoops, and I was able to handle these better than I think I have in the past. This is where it helps to know who you're racing with, and Johnny knows I'm there. He's a veteran racer and he has great awareness of what's going on around him. That's not the case with everyone, but I felt comfortable charging right up next to Johnny in these whoops because I know he's not going to do anything dumb. I was able to make a pass on Johnny there, and that puts me in 7th place. For me, I wait around on the right opportunity to pass, and I wait too long in some cases. Whether it's an open area or a hot line, you just have to be constantly looking ahead for it. You also have to be watching for mistakes by the rider you're passing because they may get focused on who's behind them, and they might make a wrong turn or just make some other mistake. The second situation is where you need to get around a slower rider from another class. In most cases, they'll hear you coming and move over like this guy did. And he didn't actually need to stop. He could have kept moving and held his line to one side and I could get by. That's by far the best scenario for both riders. Thank you. Mike Rogers went down in the sand and now I'm back in 6th place. When passing riders from other classes, you also have to keep in mind that those riders don't always know who's coming up behind them. And they may think you are in their class and you're competing with them. I find most often that if you get right up behind them and make a lot of noise, they'll either make a mistake or they'll give you an opening. Mike Rogers again, so I'm back in 7th. It's really hard to tell in the video how deep and powdery this sand is, but I was really happy with how the bike tracked and it handled really well in these conditions. The sand is shifty, but I never felt out of control. Watching this back, I think I could have gone considerably faster in these sections, but I always think that when I'm watching my race videos. My friend Garrett Carter. Here comes Johnny. And I think I'm back in 8th now. There's Mike Rogers down again, so I'm back in 7th. coming up on the end of lap 1 and we're going through this red sand pit. I really like the way this was laid out at the end of the lap rather than the beginning like previous races. It can be kind of sketchy going through this in the crowd at the start of a race. This is a great area for spectators and the burned up turns are a lot of fun. I missed an opportunity here to take a line around the logs to the right. I could have passed Johnny there, I think. There's Dylan Perrette cheering me on there. Thank you, sir. I'm at the end of lap 1 and I'm in 7th place. Conditions are near perfect for the race today. We've got sunny skies and about 60 degrees for a high temperature, so it doesn't get much better than that. There's a little bit of dust in certain areas, but there's enough wind to kind of keep it moved out of the way. The bike is performing extremely well, but I can't say the same for the rider. I really should be running with the class leaders, and I'm a little frustrated about that, but I'm really impressed with the handling of the YZ250FX. I love the way it turns, and it always feels planted. Power delivery is linear with a smooth torque curve. I'm not sure there's a better handling bike out there, but as I mentioned before, the suspension on the 21 models is really stiff, and I'm going to have to get it set up for me. The harshness of the forks is causing me to have to hold on tighter than I normally would, and that's causing some fatigue in my hands and forearms. The shock is valved really stiff as well. All of my compression adjusters are adjusted as far to the soft side as they can be, and other YZ250FXs I've ridden have all felt great with stock suspension. But this 21 model just didn't set up for a 48-year-old C-Class guy. I'll get that taken care of in the next few weeks at Fast Lap Racing suspension. So after just one lap, I'm feeling pretty worn down from it. Everything else is just me needing to adapt to riding and racing 4-stroke. Once I got tired, I was getting out of the gas way too soon when approaching turns and going down hills. The 4-stroke just won't coast like the 2-stroke, and I have to break that habit of chopping the throttle too soon when I'm slowing down. I'm still behind Johnny here, and I see an opportunity to make a hotline pass. I might have stretched the boundaries of a true hotline there, but Johnny's the king of hotlines, and it's always fun to make a pass on him like that. Now I'm in 6th place. There goes Johnny, back to 7th place. Here's a good example of the habit I've got to break. Like, why am I coasting down this hill? I need to stay in the gas even though it's a downhill and keep my momentum through that turn. The engine braking is killing me here, and that's one of those habits I just have to change from riding a 2-stroke to riding a 4-stroke. It's late in the 2nd lap and I've caught up to my friend Chris Waldrop. He's in the same class as me. Let's see if I can pick up a position here. I tried to take the inside line, but I didn't see the string until it was too late. I got tangled up for a second, but was able to get out of it. In the afternoon race, someone had string and stakes trailing behind them and spectators trying to get out of the way of the flying stakes. End of lap 2, still in 7th place. Alright, I've caught back up with Chris Walter. This time I'm able to get by him. Now I'm in 6th place. I think Chris has more left in the tank at this point with the way he's riding the whoops. He put me back in 7th here. Chris is faster in the sandy areas, but I seem to be catching him when we get into the woods. I'm at the end of the 3rd lap and I'm hoping to see a checkered flag here. Nope, white flag, one more lap. I was really fatigued on the last lap, but I managed to make it through. It turns out Chris pulled off after lap 3, so I picked up a position and finished 6th in my class. I had fun racing the new bike, and I'm going to keep getting it dialed in with suspension and some other changes in the works. I'm working on several videos with the Yamaha, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them, and hit that like button if you enjoy the race recap videos. Thanks for watching.